Hey, everybody, good morning. It is a Monday morning. You're watching the Monday morning edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder, sitting here with you. And of course, I am with two comedians who have been in the game for a very long time. One is known as Rodney Perry, the other one is known as Fig. Talent is not here with us this morning. These two comics have been in the comedy game for a very long time themselves. They've been in comedy commercials. They've comedy shows, comedy specials, hosted comedy specials, hosted TV shows, co-host, done everything, comedy warming up and everything else. Now they have something we call a comedy sports talk show. So first of all, gentlemen, how was your weekend? Hope everything was good. Yes, okay. Everything all right over there?
You talking to me, man? My weekend was sexy, man. You know what I mean? I was watching football, you know what I mean? Just relaxing, enjoying all the games, the upsets, you know what I mean? The defeats, the wins. I mean, this football week was incredible.
How about you, Rodney Perry?
I ain't watch no football. My fantasy season is shot. I hate football. The worst season of all time.
Well,
have you thought about that? This is the worst season of football ever.
Especially if you're hurt.
I mean, great players. Like, you pick your fantasy and you down to the third string players. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't even disagree with that, because that's why I don't even get into it, because I find it hard to play, because I just don't understand it. But let me do the COVID report real fast. Let's get this in, because there's something that just dropped 5 seconds ago. I want to talk about that. The COVID report is the Gonzaga basketball team is pausing all team activities because they got 2 positive tests, and they canceled their next 4 games. They're 4 basketball games, which is really shocking, because you know how much money basketball generates for college and everything else. But there was some boxing news, but some news jumped off literally 5 minutes ago before we cut on the air. Before I mentioned the boxing news, breakdancing, I'm going to say this again, breakdancing has now been announced as an Olympic sport. It's going to be in the Olympics this coming year. Actually, the next rotation of the Olympics, which they said looks like it's going to be next year. So can you imagine that, Rodney Perry? We are literally going to have breakdancing in the Olympics. I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't even know anybody who breakdances anymore. You know, I really, not that as
first of all, Frank,
at that high level. So
first of all, Frank, what you're not going to do is besmirch my athletic ability. This is just God's will, even the playing field. Give Rodney Perry another chance at gold. I'm gonna get the gold medal. Watch, don't make me get boy. Mess around and Fig, don't you make me. Whoa, Fig, I see it. Me and Fig, they would call us vanilla and chocolate.
Ren and 10.
Ren and 10.
The breakdancing Dalmatians.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what? That's actually a good thing, man. I mean, breakdancing is real. They're real athletes. They have been athletes. They've been spinning and doing this stuff for 3 decades. It's about time. I like it. I feel good about it.
I mean, listen, I feel it's a great time for Shaq to make a comeback, because he was breakdancing with the Jabberwockies.
He's a Jabberwocky.
Yeah, man. Shaq was down with the crew, man. Shaq
hold on,
make his comeback.
I think Frank is hating on the breakdancing.
No, I'm not hating. I'm just like, if you include breakdancing, then why don't you include ballroom dancing? Why don't you include the rest? I mean, you know what I mean?
They already do.
Have it separate.
Ballroom dancing is already in. All that floor exercise, the jumping, all that. If you can do that, you can breakdance.
But I'm saying, why not include all that in the Olympics? Is what I'm saying. If you could do all that,
it's part of the gymnastics section.
I know some of that dance is. I don't know about ballroom, but ballroom is definitely has like a World Series.
Right. They have their own thing. The ballroom dancer has its own thing. I don't know. I just think dancing, in any way, any shape, shouldn't be included in the Olympics. That's just my feeling, But
breakdancing is a little more athletic, man. If you think about it, it's like
Frank Holder. Yes. Where my glasses at?
Some of them floor exercises that they do in gymnastics. Some of the breakdancers incorporate some of that stuff, but they incorporate it to music. Yeah, and then just say, all I can say is this, man. black culture rules.
Now, how about this? If breakdancing get in, how long before twerking get in?
Good point. Good point. I didn't even think. Good, actually, great point.
Hey, it be some male twerking division.
Oh, wait a minute. You just lost me on that one.
Wait, Fig.
Can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donnell Thompson from New Orleans, Louisiana. He's in the big twerk off for the gold.
And he has exceptional big cheeks. Get ready for this.
Oh,
we should expect a special twerk off from him. Special big cheeks.
Yo, you can't tell me ain't nobody from Atlanta gonna be in the male twerk off.
Donnell, you got injured today, and you sprained your butt muscle on the left side. Talk to me about.
Did I use the correct term? He sprained his gluteus maximus on the upper left side.
His lower posterior ligament is torn, but apparently it wasn't due to working out today. It's torn from another activity,
especially in Atlanta.
I'm not gonna let y'all talk about Atlanta like that. I live in Atlanta. And that,
all right, can we talk about this boxing now? Also came across.
Please, let's talk about boxing.
Let's talk about boxing. I don't know about you guys, but when you heard, what did you think, Rodney Perry, when you heard that Logan Paul is now set an exhibition fight to fight Floyd Mayweather February 20th, and they both announced it on their Instagram? I'm not gonna lie.
Logan Paul is the reality dude that knocked out.
Yeah, same dude that knocked out Nate Robinson is now. He about to fight a real fighter. So I don't know if Nate Robinson was on the back phone talking about, yo, man, you got to redeem me because I can't go out like that. Can you help a brother out? Because
Nate didn't say that. Nate know he got his ass toe off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Call me, redeem me, and knock him out because there's no way.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, Logan Paul is not a professional boxer. Now he getting ready. It's one thing when you boxing Nate Robinson, who's not a professional boxer, but he went from nobody who boxed at all to a professional. Floyd Mayweather got belts, got years under him. It's going to be a disaster. I don't see the point. But anyway,
was an internet sensation. Logan,
that's what I said. He's an internet sensation.
Was an internet sensation as far as boxing. I mean, he may not have done. He may not have been in the professional ranks, huh?
Isn't he the same guy that showed a dead body or something on his YouTube?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, but
I think so. What's your thought process, right?
Man, they some of these internet boxers, they got pretty decent skills. You know what I mean? They may not be professional on the professional ranks. You know what I mean? But I think they may be equivalent to club fighters. They have those fighters that are club fighters. I mean, they box, but they don't box on a high level. You know what I mean? Pretty much they box. They make money boxing. You know what I mean? On the local level, and they just don't go national. But right. Hey, listen, it's a money grab because when he fought Nate Robinson, he made $600,000. How much you think he gonna make with a draw like Floyd?
Right. And I mean, of course, it's the money that the fight generate, but he's also gonna build his following even more. He's gonna grab some boxing. Now, even if he get knocked out, it's a win for him.
Yeah, the payday is gonna be huge, and the attention is gonna be huge. And how you shape it out? But Rodney, any other thoughts you got on that one?
I agree with Fig in terms of it being a money grab, but it's a super money grab because he's probably going to run some version of it on his YouTube page, and he's going to get even more followers from that. I mean, the dude is already monetized, so he's going to collect some chips off of this thing.
Right. And the other boxing news, Danny Garcia was defeated by Errol Spence to keep his IBF and WBC belts in the unanimous decision over the weekend. I saw clips of the fight. I didn't see a lot of it, but I'm not sure. But I thought Danny Garcia was supposed to be the one who was going to defeat Errol Spence not get defeated by. I thought he was, heavily favored in this. So, one thing about boxing is you never know who's going to really win, especially if you don't knock the other person out, because that's why I'm not a fan. I used to be a huge fan of boxing until years ago when I think it was the Mike Tyson fight. I'm not even sure which one it was actually, but I just don't like it to be left up to the judges because it's never what you expect it to be unless you knock the guy out. But anyway, Rodney, what's your thought process about Danny Garcia getting defeated by Errol Spence over the weekend?
Man, look, it's like you said, Frank. If you don't put a guy on the ground, anything can happen. Now, I thought he had done enough to win the fight, but I mean, I'm not a professional. I mean, we look at a fight and you like, oh, so and so won, or this guy's a bum. But when you're looking at it through the eyes of a guy that always watch fighting, and you're close, you're probably like, this guy is further away than you think. So, I always yield to the professionals when it comes to this.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll tell you this: Errol Spence wasn't no joke, man. I've seen this kid. He was a title holder. I've seen Errol Spence fight before, man. This kid, the only thing that knocked Errol Spence off is that he was a little behind because he was in a major car accident. Mm-hmm. This kid he's bona fide. I seen him knock some cats out, man, like some contenders. And he ain't no joke. I thought it was a toss-up when he was going in there with Danny Garcia. But he gave Danny Garcia a boxing lesson, man. This kid can really, he can really do his thing. Now they talking about he might fight Crawford next.
Right.
Nice. I'd like to see that, man. You know what I mean? That'd be a nice little matchup. But man, going back to this Floyd Mayweather with this kid, man, it's like Rocky and Apollo Creed.
Possibly. Anyway, we got to talk about the NFL too because there's been some big news. I want to talk about the Jets game real fast because 10 minutes ago, actually 30 minutes ago, the Jets fired defensive coordinator Greg Williams, and it has to be because the Jets blew the game with 5 seconds left to go. It has to be because of that. Now, I thought when I saw the game, I just went, okay, because at the end of the day, I was like, the Jets need to lose because they have to got to be in the Trevor Lawrence thing. I wasn't as upset as the Jets players or maybe the Jets fans. Now, I'm not a Jets fan, so Fig, I'm going to start with you on this one. Now, because I know you're a New Yorker fan. When you saw the Jets was winning that game, literally up to 5 seconds ago, were you kind of mad that they were about to win? Or, because if they had won, it would have took them out of they wouldn't have been as assured to get Trevor Lawrence. So how would what was your thoughts when you see that?
And man, it was a winning losing type situation. If you win, you lose. Mm-hmm. And if you lose, you lose. So either way, they come out taking the L. Here's the thing, man. Firing the coach doesn't make sense to me because number one, ultimately that's what everybody wants anyway. You want the Jets to lose so you can get Trevor Lawrence. We already know that. I'm not saying that the players were tanking and stuff like that. I actually like the play that he called. I would blame the defensive back. I'm like, the only way this team can beat you is if this kid scores a touchdown. How you let him get behind you and the rest of your team is blitzing? I like that better. You know why? Because I think we talked about it early in the year. When you're up and these teams go into what they call the prevent defense. The prevent defense, all it does is prevent you from winning. So I actually like the fact that they went aggressive to try and get to the quarterback before he had a chance to sit back there, take his time, look around, and throw a Hail Mary to win. The only thing that this guy had to do was stay between the receiver and the goal line. And he let him get behind him, and it was a touchdown. You know what? It's typical of the Jets season. They've been losing all year. Thank God that they lost this game because now they almost like a shoe-in to get Trevor Lawrence, and they don't have a favorable schedule coming up. So we expect them to go 0-16. They better.
Rodney, what's your thought?
I'm really having a good time today because I enjoy disagreeing with Fig real time. Yeah, you talking about it's this horrible coaching. Mm-hmm. It ain't nobody's fault but the coach. You have to fire the coach. Who calls a jailbreak blitz with 5 seconds on the clock and nobody get to the QB.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you try to lose. And so, how about this? He was fired before the game. He's like, you know what? Since I'm fired, guess what? See, you ever notice in radio, they never let you say bye because of stuff like this. And they fired him before the game. He said, okay, I'm fired. Guess what? We blitzing.
You know what? I can't even get mad at you, Roddy, because in 251 attempts since 2016, that has never happened, ever in football history.
Nobody does it.
Yeah, nobody does it because it just doesn't make actual sense to do it. But let's look at the other New York football team. Now, you know what I mean? Since we're going to flip the script, the New York Giants, on the other hand, they're going in the great direction. They're going in the right direction. The New York Giants started out 0-8 and now have won their last 5 straight, if I'm correct with the math. And they did it without Saquon Barkley, and they've done it without Daniel Jones. And that win yesterday was a phenomenal win. Let's be honest. I don't think anybody expected the New York Giants of any team in the last 3 years to beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Correction. We must give our colleague credit. Talent picked the Giants over the Seahawks this week.
Yeah, that's true.
He was, if anybody, he was the only one.
Well, he been busy for 2 weeks though. He'll get no credit.
Yeah, he pick them all the time. He pick them all the time.
He jumped off the bandwagon for the last 2 weeks. Check the tape. I hope he's watching. Tyler, you think I don't see it? I know what you did, Talent. You and now all of a sudden you want to come back and act like you've always been there. Well, all you New York Giants fans, Tyler left y'all.
Listen, I can't even disagree with you.
I'm happy. I'm happy for these guys. And what did we talk about at the beginning of the season? They didn't have no preseason. They didn't have the season. So it's taken. This is the worst season in NFL history.
It is.
Yeah. No preseason. The first 4 or 5 games was horrible across the board. People got injured, this and that. So we 4 games into the season where we get any good football. Then we get decent football, and people get hurt, COVID, hurt, COVID. Now we finally get some decent football, and it's almost over.
He's right. There was no summer camp. There was no preseason games. There was no summertime training of any kind. There's nothing. And on top of that, then you got COVID. And then because of the COVID and there's no summertime players get really hurt. Saquon Barkley goes down. Daniel Jones goes down, and then look at them. These guys are still they're starting to turn the season around. Now I don't know about you, but I don't know about you, but I wouldn't have picked the Giants to beat Seattle any day. To go into Seattle and beat Seattle, I would have never picked that pick. So when you being a New York Giants fan, you had to come back like wow when you saw that.
Yeah, man, I was shocked. I knew that the Giants were trending up, and I knew that they were playing better. But I didn't know it was going to be to the level of being able to beat Seattle in Seattle. Here's the thing. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that the Giants never really had a superstar quarterback like the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes. We never had those dudes. We had serviceable guys. We had the Phil Simms. We had the Eli Manning. Now we got Daniel Jones. The guy who won yesterday is Colt McCoy. I mean, come on. You know what the Giants always have hung their hat on? Defense. We've always, anytime we had a winning season, we had great defense. We had great defensive players. You think about the Strahans. You think about one of the greatest, if not the greatest football players that ever played the game, Lawrence Taylor. We always had great defense, which led us to being able to win Super Bowls. So when they win yesterday, they won basically on defense because they held Seattle to 12 points. Yeah. I'm like, that's typical Giants when that would be a typical Giants win because we had a good defense.
I feel like Roddy Prey wants to a rhetorical.
I know.
I feel like Roddy wants to say something about that response.
I know he does.
How about this? The Giants did look good. I'm not going to go all into it because Fig gave us the Gettysburg Address on how great the Giants are. Yeah. I will say this. Seattle is suspect.
Yeah, yes, they are.
Seattle is really suspect on defense this tail end part of the season. Seattle used to hang their hat on defense, and they not. Russell can't do it all, and the offense can't put up enough points. And you know, when you finally score, you got your defense giving up points too. So I mean, Seattle is a little inconsistent, and I think that's we saw the result of that this past game.
Well, you know what that game did? That game took Russell Wilson completely out of the MVP consideration. He's not even in the talks anymore or in the thought. And 2 weeks ago, he was in the mix. 3 weeks ago, he was leading the MVP race, you know, if everybody was going to vote then. But since we're talking about teams trending, we got to talk about the Bears because the Bears blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to lose to the Lions. And that game was one of those games you say the Lions can't get ready to beat these. Like this is not going to happen right now. Now, being a Bears fan, Rodney, the Bears now have lost 6 straight. They were 5-1. I had to bring it up to you, Rodney. What you thinking, man?
First of all, I want to apologize to my teammates. I was unable to make it to the game. I had a gig in Greenville, and I was supposed to quarterback this Sunday. And I was just tied up, man. And I'm sorry, guys.
That's what happened.
We don't have a quarterback, Frank.
Yeah,
we don't have a quarterback. Well, I think they fired Trubisky. They're about to fire Foles. They're about to fire anybody that. It's so bad. How you start off so good? Now I got to hear talent fools gold analogy. Huh? Is that me?
No, you good. Everything is good.
Oh, I thought he said something. But now I got to hear talent talk about the Bears and the fool's gold and all that nonsense. Look, the Bears are bad. They are very bad, and they're bad for a lot of reasons. They're bad for lack of quarterback. They're bad for a suspect offensive line play. They're bad. They give away every great receiver. The Bears are becoming a farm team for receivers. Where you go to the Bears, you get good, and you go somewhere else and be great. It's sickening. I'm sick of it, but that's my team, and I'm never leaving.
I'll tell you this. Before I throw it to Fig, I'll tell you this. The Bears had a defense that was phenomenal. I don't know what happened, and the Bears players themselves were, talking trash about how good their defense was, and they were mad at the offense. Now, ain't nobody could be mad at the Bears. nobody other the Bears can be mad. Fig, what you got to say before Rodney cries?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I don't know, Rodney, if you remember, man. Rodney, you called this in the beginning of the season when the Bears was running off them wins. You was like, yeah, I know the Bears. You was like, this ain't gonna last. You was like, it's not gonna last.
This why I know we're gonna last, Mr. Fig. We had no quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I played John Madden football. Okay, I played with this guy, Mitch Trubisky. He good. If you bad on that game, guess what? You bad in real life. When I can't throw the ball and I'm playing with him, he can't throw the ball either. The game is very true to life in terms of that. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a fact. Go ahead, Fig. I'm sorry I cut you off.
You cannot win football with a guy named Mitchell. That's all I'm saying. Your quarterback cannot be named Mitchell. That's all.
Mitchell sound like a
the thing is that look, it was a rivalry game. Everybody knows. Rodney always talk about this. I'm surprised he didn't say nothing. It's always a tough game when you play a team in your division and it becomes rivalry. Bears-Lions have been a rivalry game since.
They usually play that Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah, man. So what is it? Since back in the 50s, maybe the Bears and the Lions playing together. That's like old school rivalry. That's your dad and your granddad's rivalry teams, and it's pretty much if they got a halfway decent team on defense or offense, when those two teams play each other, it's a pick 'em. I wasn't surprised. I thought Chicago would be able to pull it out, but the Lions won. He tricked us all.
Who the spread? Because who did the spread favor? Because they only won by like 3 points, 4 points, right?
I don't. And when they play, it's never a big spread on those two teams because they're rivalry teams. If they're halfway decent. You know, you could never 100% guarantee a win on either side when those teams match up against each other because there's so much rivalry and so much hatred. That's like the Hatfield and the McCoys. That's a famous rivalry.
The worst NFL season ever.
I have got to agree with that. Speaking of worst NFL season, I know I lost my shirt on. If I would have bet some money, I definitely would have lost my shirt on the Baker Mayfield Browns game destroying Tennessee. Ooh. I didn't see that game coming. I watched that game intently. I was like, okay, because the top dog in the last 3 weeks has been who? Fink? Who's been one of the top dogs? Mr. Henry.
My man, Derek O. Henry.
Derrick Henry's been the top dog. He disappeared yesterday. He had a fumble yesterday. He barely broke the line. And Baker Mayfield was throwing darts all over the field. Now, Rodney Perry, when you saw this game, or if you saw the highlights, were you as shocked as me to see the end result? Because I'm like, you know what? It's just something else that happened that I will not be surprised now. You know, not surprised.
Here it goes, man. Baker Mayfield has really been, over the last couple of weeks, he's been kind of finding his way, man.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like we said. Maybe this season is finally kicking in for these guys, and he's finding a way. Baker Mayfield is not a slouch. I don't believe in the Browns, but I think I picked the Browns.
I don't know.
Look, I don't know who.
I think I picked the Browns.
I don't know if anybody picked the Browns this one. I think we all took an L on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I picked the Browns.
Over the Titans.
Yeah.
And man, let me tell you something. A lot of people were out on Baker Mayfield, you know what I mean? After his first season, everybody was like, oh, this kid got potential. I don't think they liked his personality, his character, and stuff like that. Now this is like his third season. I keep saying to people, man, when a player goes from college to pro, it takes them a while to figure it out. Usually those players that are successful in the very beginning, it's not because of them. It's because of the people that are around them. You know, like when we was just talking about Sierra's husband, how successful he was in the beginning when he first came into the league. But then Seattle had the Legion of Boom. Mm-hmm. And they were the reason why he was winning. It takes a professional possibly 3 years to make their full impact and to really absorb the game, whether it be football or basketball. It generally takes most players about 3 years before they come into their own, unless you just like super, super exceptional. There's a handful of guys that come in and make an impact. Now in basketball, it was Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Mike Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But now look at the guys that I just mentioned. These are Mount Rushmore type players. The average dude takes about 3 years before he comes into his own.
Yeah, I won't even disagree with that. You know, the funny thing is,
that's a great point, Fig. Great point.
You know what the funny thing is? Imagine how good the Browns would be if OBJ hadn't been hurt right now. You know what I mean? Because they're doing really well. He's throwing darts, and OBJ hasn't played since what, week 2, week 1? He got injured early on in the season.
But let me say something to that, Frank. Because what happens when these primetime diva receivers go down, it gives a new QB a chance to really find himself. Because he's not worried about getting the ball to this guy. Now he can get his dump offs. He can hit the tight end. He can do stuff that he can't do if he's worried about getting it to OBJ. I think OBJ going down was a blessing for him.
Yeah, it really was, and it helped out the rest of the other guys too. Who now, because if they want to win games, he got to spread the ball around. He just has to be able to win the games. And now they won some games.
Think about when Antonio Brown got to Tampa Bay. Tom Brady and them took like a step back because maybe Tom, even in his, with his season years, maybe he was trying to get Antonio Brown into the mix, and it caused them to be off a little bit on their time and rhythm and chemistry, and they lost a few games.
You know what
it took them a while to get back to themselves. You know what
it is about Tom Brady and them is that the coach is letting him call the plays. That's the problem. He wants to keep throwing the ball long because that's what he always wanted to do. But that's a whole nother conversation. We'll get to that shortly. We got to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay. We have to talk about that because the Eagles lost to Green Bay. Carson Wentz got benched. Jalen Hurts came in and he dazzled in the game. He looked phenomenal. I got a Pelican brief. I'm gonna throw up there. I got a Pelican brief. Okay, here, Rodney, you ready for this? Okay, here it is. You ready for this? My Pelican brief is that Carson Wentz is not going to be in the Philadelphia Eagle uniform this time next year. I just foresee it because Jalen Hurts, that boy balled out in the 4 or 5 minutes he was in. He balled out. So first of all, Rodney, my question to you is: do you think that Jalen Hurts is going to be the future of the Philadelphia Eagles sooner rather than later, and Carson Wentz is out of here because of how poorly he played? Or do you think Philly's going to stick it out with him because they are really bogged down by that huge contract that Carson Wentz has?
I mean, Carson Wentz has been a failure in the Eagles uniform since after the first season. He had a phenomenal first season. He looked like Patrick Mahomes or better. He looked better. And then he proved to be gimpy. He was gimpy left and right, getting hurt. Your boy Nick Foles, who we know now really ain't that good. Nick Foles can come in and take you the rest of the way to a Super Bowl, and then you get the team back. They give you the team back again, and you still fail again. And then he ain't never coming back. I don't know if that means this new guy gonna get the love because it's Philly. Philly is a horrible city. I'm gonna say it. Philly booed Santa Claus.
They did.
So it's just a matter of time before they turn on this new young kid. But I mean, is he gonna get the reins of this team? He should. But Philly played bad enough to maybe catch a QB in the draft.
Well, my Pelican brief is this: I wouldn't be surprised to see Carson Wentz in a Dallas Cowboys uniform this time next year. That's my Pelican brief, bro. I wouldn't be surprised. Quarterbacking because
holding the kick.
Quarterbacking because you know why? Dak Prescott is a little bit behind in his rehabilitation. You know, they both have huge contracts. Well, actually, one's going to have a bigger contract, but they both could offset contracts. I just see Jerry doing something. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can really see that happening. But anyway, that's my Pelican brief. Fig, what's your thought process on?
Man, I don't know about that one.
That might be the worst Pelican brief of all time.
Yeah, I mean, my problem is I don't know whether I don't know whether a team is going to be willing to pick up that money. You know, well, this guy. What'd you say?
The thing is this: Jerry Jones has no problem signing a huge contract.
He had a problem signing a huge contract with Dak.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I said he had a problem signing a huge contract with Dak.
Can you hear Rodney? Can you hear him?
Yes, I hear him, and we hear you too.
Yeah, we hear you. We can hear you. The thing is, I just think it's a problem with I don't know who's going to pick up that money. Carson Wentz is owed a boatload of money, and I don't know who's going to be willing to pay all of that money for him, especially the way he's played now. You're only as good as your last game. If the Eagles bench you, who gonna pick up? What is it? I think he's owed like $30-some million, like $32 million. Who's gonna pay that money?
Is it guaranteed?
Your quarterback money is guaranteed. That money is guaranteed. That's why you can't get up off that contract.
His money he's the highest paid quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes right now.
The only person I know, the only team that I know that could take a quarterback like that and turn him completely around is I would give that to the New England Patriots. I get at the Belichick. Belichick could take a quarterback like Carson Wentz and turn him into a star. Because of Belichick's only asks you to do what you can do. He don't ask you to do anything special, anything different. He just says, look, do what you do, play your position. I think Carson Wentz could
that would never happen.
I think he could thrive in that system. Whether you believe it or not, you don't have to agree with me. I just think that Belichick can take a quarterback like that, turn him around.
I'm telling you why. Belichick has never paid for a quarterback.
No, I'm not saying with the money. I'm not saying about. I don't think anybody is going to be willing to take that money. I'm just talking about talent-wise. who can take Carson Wentz's career and turn it around on the field. I don't think Belichick is going to pay that money because he never paid that. They didn't pay Tom Brady that money.
Right, he don't. So that's why I said Jerry Jones would do that, because Jerry Jones would look at him and say, you know what? He went down there and he got an MVP season, and I got the money, and we need a splash. And our coach has been known to work with great quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers. You know, maybe he needs Carson Wentz, and I don't know if I'm gonna pay a brother that kind of money. But I have no problem paying Carson Wentz that, because we all know Jerry Jones thinks.
No, boy. Let me tell you, I always said, I don't care what nobody say. I always say that's the reason that Dak didn't get his money. I said, had Dak been Caucasian.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he fits all the bills, everything else of what they do. And his numbers, he's the MVP. Listen, I can see him being in a Cowboys uniform tomorrow. I can see that happening, because the Cowboys think that they got a good offensive line and everything else. So you ain't got to believe it in my if you don't want to. But listen, we can circle back on that Pelican brief when it happens. We can circle back.
Rodney got them gold cards.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, I'm with y'all. I'm playing the race card right now because Jimmy Jones should have been paid Dak. He's getting what he deserved, but I promise you, he's not gonna get Carson Wentz pitiful. But if he do, he need to be shot.
Well, I don't know. All I know is nothing right now would surprise me by the way they're handling Dak Prescott's contract and the way things are unfolding in Philly. Right now, ain't nothing gonna surprise me. But anyway, let's talk about the Kansas City game last night. I don't know if you guys saw the Kansas City Chiefs play last night, right? Kansas City,
sir.
They did not look like the Kansas City Chiefs the way I expected. They did win, but if Denver had made 2 or 3 different plays the right way, Denver could have beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Now, Kansas City don't look like the biggest powerful house like they thought they were. But again, Roddy, this shows you it's another rinky-dink football season. Not another one. It's the unusual football season that's affected us on all of the platforms. How
about this, Frank? The Kansas City Chiefs have been eking out wins all season.
Mm-hmm.
They've been eking out wins all season. They've shown some chinks in their armor, but Patrick Mahomes is just a winner. The kid knows how to win. That is admirable. Like, it's him. It's not like, we go, well, it's defense. It's not the defense. It's him. And it's almost like sometimes he don't even play to the third quarter.
Right.
He like a little kid that be he on the sideline playing Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed first half, coach. And he go in there and he scored. The dude is amazing, man. And I don't know. You tell me what you think.
Fake, what you think?
Man, let me tell you something. Patrick Mahomes is the next level. I think what the Kansas City Chiefs is doing, you know how sometimes we talk about it in basketball a lot. We very rarely talk about this in football. But you know how a team sometimes gets bored with the regular season and they're looking forward to the playoffs because they know they're just that good? That's what I see when I see the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they play down to their competition. I mean, you going to Denver. I mean, Denver is coming in. Is that a game, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, that you getting up for? The Broncos? It's like, man, listen.
You ain't trying to lose.
The Broncos is coming. Ain't nobody paying attention to the Broncos. It's like they coming, so what? They was hanging out and sleeping and eating bad and stuff like that. Did you see some of the stuff that Patrick Mahomes, some of the passes that he was throwing yesterday? He's running to his left, throwing back to his right, across his body, underarm, around. I mean, he was throwing. Patrick Mahomes throws a football like a pitcher throws a baseball. He can like throw it this way and make it curve back around the defenders. I'm like, yo, man, this kid is just incredible. And I just don't think that they got up for the Denver Broncos yesterday. I think they played down to their competition because they knew at any given moment they could pull it all the way out and just beat them. You see when they play the contenders, the teams that's supposed to have a chance to beat them, you see them rise to the occasion, and that's when you see the real Kansas City Chiefs. The only thing they don't have is a defense.
I will say this. That might be how they want to do and everything else, but through the playoff system, the way it's rolled out right now, you slip around, you messed up, your whole thing could be messed up. Because right now they have to play. They don't have no weekends off because they're the number 2 seed. Like the only one the week off is Pittsburgh Steelers, number 1 seed. So right now. You keep playing around like that, you slip up, miss up, and end up getting hell. We got to talk about the NBA because I want to just throw something out there. James Harden, right? James Harden is not practicing with the team now. The reports are coming out that he gonna practice. He's already starting out with the cancerous move with the team because he's trying to force their hand. He doesn't realize. Maybe it's me, but I'm looking out from the outside and I'm thinking that he is forcing himself about to be traded to a team that he doesn't want to go to. You know what I mean? Because management can trade you anywhere you want to. You might want to be traded, but if I'm management right now, Rodney Forever, you can tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm management right now, I know I'm not going to get full value because he's cancerous to the team. He's not showing up practices. He's just being all kinds of different things. Yeah, I would trade him to somewhere like I don't know, maybe to a losing team and just
go and say it, Frank. Say it with your chest. Go and say the Knicks. Go ahead, say
it. I'm about to. But I didn't say the Knicks. I was gonna say, let me help you out.
Knicks would be happy with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Knicks would be happy. The fans would be happy. James Harden wouldn't be happy, and he can't do nothing about it.
No.
But anyway,
go ahead. No, you know why that would be good, Frank?
Right.
Because he wants to go to the Nets. So you trade him to the Knicks. He's right next door. he like 30 minutes away. He's like so close, but yet so far. You know what I mean? That would be crazy if he traded. That would be, that'd be sexy. You trade him to the Knicks, boy. I mean, we would be back.
Rodney, what do you think about that?
I think I'm sick because I'd have had to talk Jets, Giants, and the lousy Knicks. Look, I mean, here goes. First of all, James Harden is never going to be a Knickerbocker.
Okay.
James Harden. Now, is it a cancer or is he like LeBron? He just ain't ready to play. I mean, they play what feels like a long season to them. They played. They had to wait for 8 weeks, and then they finally played in the bubble, and they lost. And so I think those guys just not ready to come back yet. And the vets get to come in a little later. That's all.
Yeah. But he got a new coach, a new system. They lost Westbrook. They've got to be all on the same page to be able to start up in the right foot. So you're not playing with your team. You're not building chemistry with your team. That's not a way that you build, team camaraderie. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Frank, we talking about practice, man. I mean, practice.
Yeah, you need it. But you need it with a coach, a new coach, to develop a new system.
But it's practice, Frank.
All right, okay.
We're talking about practice.
You know what? I don't.
In the words of the great.
I don't like it that they doing that, man. Because he's doing that because, I mean, you signed a major contract. You wanted your money. You got your money. Now we asking you to do the job that we paying you for. Whether you like the team or not, these are not the decisions that you make. There's only one dude that I know that makes those kind of decisions in the league right now, and that's LBJ. That's LeBron James. That's the only person I know that are making those kind of decisions with the front office. But he's earned it. He's proved it. He's won in several different teams, several different cities. So he has the cachet to be able to be given that type of leeway. James Harden, he's gotten close, but he hasn't really won anything. So I don't think he has that sort of power in the pull, this kind of card. Oh, I want to be traded, and I want to be traded to the Nets. I want to go play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Like, come on, man. Like, really? It just is what it is.
I don't know, man. I don't think he should be doing that at all because the fact being, again, like I said, you got a new coach, you got a new system. If you want to get traded, say, listen, I want to go get traded. You don't tell the media, you don't tell the agent. You tell your agent, but you don't let them seek out and everything else. So it's not gonna make you look bad. It's not gonna make you and on top of that, you're forcing management's hand pennies on the dollar for you. Like it's not helping you at all to be able to help you for the team to move move you. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to bring up something today, and I thought talent. And so I got out of here, which is great. So this is great. NBA top free agents. I was going through my news stuff over the weekend. I don't know if either one of you realize it, but there are 15 major free agents that's going to be happening for the following season, which is forcing some people to get the last. You got Giannis. We all know about Giannis. We all know about LeBron because we got a player option. We all know about Kawhi. Paul George, Rudy Gobert, Victor Oladipo, Drew Holiday, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Paul, Blake Griffin, Conley, Andre Drummond, Steve are all free agents next year. Now, the reason why I'm bringing all these names is all these names. The Lakers are a lot of these names so you can get them to come to the team. Miami is if they could come to the team. Milwaukee is picking their team. I guess the point is saying of those names that you hear, Rodney, what name sticks out to you? You know, is not going to be in the same uniform next year.
I mean, wow, there's so many guys. I mean, let's start with who we know about. We know Rondo won't be in the same uniform. We know Paul George won't be in the same uniform. We know Chris Paul won't be in the same uniform. So, I mean, this is the thing. This is a tough part about all these great players, man. James Harden, all these guys. Sometimes you can be born in the wrong era. This is the LeBron James era, right? Which constitutes almost a whole decade. So 10 years is a career for a lot of people. People come and go in the NBA in 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I say this: if I'm you, James Harden, and those guys that want chips, y'all need to go back in time. I need to go back in time and hit LeBron in the leg.
On the leg.
Like Tanya Harden. Go ahead, Fig.
Hey, man, listen. You know, when I hear that list, the only one that strikes a chord with me is Giannis. Everybody else is a little, got dirt on them a little bit. And they not no big acquisition. Blake Griffin, he's improved his game quite a bit. Andre Drummond is limited in his talent abilities. Andre Drummond would be good on a team that doesn't need scoring at the big man position. Because Andre Drummond doesn't have, like, he can score inside, but he would fit with like a Golden State, you know what I mean? A Blake Griffin. Harden got 2 years left on his contract. Giannis is the only big piece to me that's still young, is still got a lot of talent left in him, where he could go team up with a team that has a couple of other players and make them an automatic contender, because the truth of the matter is he really is Milwaukee. He go to a team, Giannis go to a team like Golden State, they become instant contenders automatically. Right now.
You got
they get tougher too. They get tougher.
Yeah, that's right. But Kawhi is this too. And I think the name also still comes out to me in the list of Rudy Gobert. But I'm just Rodney Perry. Let me ask you, the thing is one or two pieces of getting a great a player or a player who's serviceable in there. So is the Miami Heat that team expect to snatch up one of those players and change their trajectory? Do you think Miami Heat's going to make one? Because right now, word is Beal might go to. Bradley Beal's is situated the Oladipo's room to Miami. I mean, it's a lot of names room to go to Miami. You never know.
You know, this is a league where you need at least 2 stars. Miami don't have 2 stars, and you really kind of need 3 stars, 2 stars, and a role player that's a little more than a role player. But if you don't have 2 stars, you got Jimmy Butler, who willed those guys into the depth of the playoffs. But it's a lot, though. You know, like you need 2 stars, and Bill could be that for them. But you know, anybody else on that list could be that guy for them too, though.
Right. You know, the funny thing you mentioned about Jimmy Butler is when Miami, I thought Iverson with the 6th step. Jimmy Butler more win than the Sixers did when the Sixers ran it. You know what I mean? It willed out literally the Heat to 2 wins. You know, and Fig, you know, you agree with the 2 stars? Do you agree with the 3 stars? I mean,
you need 2 stars that fit. You know what I mean? Like right now, to tell you the truth, the Lakers only really had 2 stars. You know what I mean? They had an agent Rondo, but they only had 2 stars. They had LeBron and AD. Those were the 2 stars. I said, I think last week I was saying, I believe that with the players that the Brooklyn Nets have, if Kyrie and KD is healthy, I believe those 2 stars are enough to get the job done with the pieces that they have around them, because they do have some serviceable players on that team. I mean,
but you know what
they still got a DeAndre Jordan that is still good at the center position, and he's not even going to be the starting center.
Let me say this. I'm sorry to interrupt. Let me say something you just said. Stars that fit, and that makes a whole lot of sense, because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard might not be the 2 stars that fit. Right now, news that this morning is that Kyrie is already having some issues with New Jersey Nets. So you're right. Maybe 2 stars that fit. You know.
Yeah, because see, I believe that the thing that's kind of funny to me is I always thought that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard played the same position pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So those
they like threes.
Yeah, they play like the same position. So I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe they can play together, but I don't see it. You know, I didn't see it. Didn't look that good last year. It didn't look that good. I mean, they looked good when one was out and the other one was in. That's when they really looked the best to me. When Kawhi was in and Paul George was out, they looked good. When Paul George was in and Kawhi was out, they looked good. When them guys got together, they didn't really look that great. You know, maybe it was chemistry, maybe because they didn't play together enough, maybe because they was, you know, resting and all that. So like I don't know what it is, but they never looked like they fit. They never looked like they fit good together. Like a point guard and a center. Those are the pieces that you think, oh, these guys work good. Like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons is not a great shooter. Those pieces don't seem to fit. Now they're good. Those are good, great pieces by themselves, but they don't seem to fit good together. I could say a Chris Paul and a Joel Embiid would be together, or you like the guy you said, the center, what's the center's name? You said is on the block.
Rudy Gobert.
That Rudy Gobert no, because he don't do that well either.
Right.
Man, I'm saying the pieces don't fit together.
Let me throw this last question. Let me throw this last question out there, and I'm sorry with you, Rodney. And that was Rose is rumored to go to the Lakers, and he's rumored to go to the Clippers. We don't know what the deal is going, but he's going to LA right now. He's going to LA. We just don't know if it's going to be the Lakers or the Clippers. So I ask the question to you, Rodney. Would you rather see Derrick Rose in the Clippers uniform, or would you rather see him in the Lakers uniform? And especially since you're a fan. So how would you rather? Matter of fact, I need glasses to pull out in the future.
Derrick Rose. If I like whoever I like, I want to see Derrick Rose in the other uniform. So if you're a Clipper fan, you want Derrick Rose to go to LA. If you're a Laker fan, you want Derrick Rose to go to the Clippers. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the man is a walking disaster. He's gonna get hurt again, because that's what he do. And it's not his fault. It's just how he plays. When you exploding off the ground like that and doing all this stuff, it's just a recipe for disaster. Derrick Rose cannot stay well. You put Derrick Rose, Kyrie Irving, and KD on the same team if you can, and we call them the Gimpy squad.
All right, okay. I will leave you with and say that you might be right. Because if this is the year he's gonna get hurt, it would fit for one of those teams. If he don't get hurt, he could fit for one. Right,
Hey, man, all I say is this: is that
I thought it's fixed term.
Rodney.
Yeah. No, what I was saying is Derrick Rose played on if he played either way, he gonna come off the bench to me. So either way, he's not gonna have the ball. I wonder if LeBron could put him in a position to be successful. I don't know what he would do with the Clippers. I think the best place for him to play where he would be able to flourish would be with the Lakers, because I think LeBron is at a stage in his career where he's already deferring to AD. Maybe he'll defer to Derrick Rose and give him, space to operate so he could be successful, so he could do what he does.
I would like to see Oladipo in a Laker uniform.
Woo! Man. Yeah. That
might happen.
That boy play. Oladipo plays.
That literally just might happen.
He could be the first WNBA player to play in the league.
On that note, we got to wrap this up. Talent will be back tomorrow. This is the show.
Wait, what?
It's over. It's over. That's Rodney Perry. That's Fig. Tell them out there to find you.
Man, you can find your boy here every Monday through Friday on the box seats. That's where I'll be. If you're looking for me after that, you can find your boy on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig.
Okay, Rodney Perry, how they find you?
I'm able to find the website, rodneyperry.com. Social media is right there. All things Rodney Perry Live on social media. I got a book on the street, got a movie coming out. Go to the website and find out more.
And a movie that's doing big things.
I'm telling you.
This is a show called The Box Seat. We're on of course, the platform called The Humor Mill. You can download the app and tell a friend. You can call your cable service provider. We got news ourselves coming up shortly. We're gonna tell you all about that. We got tests coming up this week. We're gonna put stuff together. I'm really excited for the future where this is going. Make sure to see you tomorrow, 1:00, same bat time, same bat channel. See y'all.
Hey, good show, guys.
Rodney done turned into Elmer J. Fudd.
Thank you, guys.
And a yacht. He got a movie and something else. Good God, dog.
Appreciate it.
I guess.
Frank, you was freezing the whole time, man. Hello.